Some movies are great because they're genuinely a great film. They were well made. Really talented people are behind the cameras and in front of them, and they're working all together as a team and making the best possible product they can. Lighting, cinematography, production design, all these wonderful reasons, quote unquote, these tangible things that make a movie great sometimes. Some movies are terrible because they're the opposite of all those things. But that also isn't true because plenty of movies are very expensive and well made, quote, quote, but they're also terrible films. And plenty of movies are made for like no money at all and end up being a masterpiece. But then there are some movies that are good without doing any of the work to make a good film. I just watched White Chicks for the first time in like 20 years. I vaguely remember it from childhood, but like I didn't like know enough to care about movies. And now I sat down and actually watched it. Halfway through, I'm like, okay, this is not that bad. It's kind of funny. I really appreciate it. And I look it up. It's got like a nothing % Rotten Tomatoes, one of the worst movies of all time or something. But it definitely has a cult status that I've experienced because every single person in my life that I've talked to likes White Chicks. I haven't asked Ian or Mudd, obviously, but like just the people around me, they're like, oh, hell yeah, that's a funny movie. I want to put it on right now. It resonates with people, which isn't that the goal of a filmmaker? And that's when I realized White Chicks is funny. It's really fucking funny. Yeah, not every joke lands. There's potty humor sometimes. There's this weird meta joke where the two girls look at the camera. It's not always a perfect movie. But most of it is really fun. Like, it leans into the kind of humor it has, and it so works for what it is. And so if you make a film that has the worst lighting, the worst production value, the worst premise, the worst acting in a lot of cases, a director who has no idea what they're doing, a script that would not pass grade school, but that movie ends up being funny, then you win. Like, what? That's the only goal of a comedy, is to make you laugh. We'll get to other genres in a second, but a comedy film really only has the one goal, and it can do everything else wrong on the way there to making you laugh. But if it makes you laugh, you can't say it's a bad movie. Because what is a good movie? What does that even mean? It's a movie that you enjoyed. Isn't that what good is? Like, yeah, there's objective ways to measure things. Oh, the camera's in focus, the lighting is not aiming at the person. But that doesn't always mean that it's a good thing. Like, there's plenty of shots in films that are out of focus that are better for it. Like The Lighthouse is a few of those. And then there's plenty of films that use lighting in creative ways where everyone's not always well lit. Like The Lighthouse. Just watch The Lighthouse. It's just a masterpiece. My point is, most of the movies that are on the worst ever made lists of like 0% Rotten Tomatoes, yeah, okay, they didn't hit anybody in any way other than negatively. They didn't resonate. They didn't have a cult following, whatever. But some of them don't care about being well put together or well produced, which doesn't even mean anything anyway. All they care about is delivering you, the audience, a quality experience. The exact same thing can be said of, say, an action movie. Look at Ballerina, just came out. One of the weakest scripts ever. The most cliched, run-of-the-mill, boring thing. The twist with her sister makes no sense. You've seen this exact film 1,000 other ways better, other than this. But the action is the most groundbreaking, creative, interesting visually, and from a story point of view, action you could ever dream of. It's got maybe the most action in any of the John Wick films, like ratio-wise. It's crazy. The quality of the John Wick movies severely outweighs Ballerina. But if you want to talk about the action, which is the point of the film, then it is on par, if not better than some of the Wicks, just in terms of pure spectacle and fight scenes. So guess what? That movie wins. It wins by cheating. It didn't actually make itself a good film. It wasn't. Lore-wise, it doesn't make any sense because it takes place after 3, even though he's like healing after being shot off the roof. So it must have taken place after he has healed, but the start of John Wick 4 implied that he had just healed, and he's just finally back into fighting again. So it couldn't have been before then, but then after then is pretty well documented over the course of the film. He's like going to Tokyo and shit. So there's no way, timeline-wise, that like the Ruska Roma could have called him. Doesn't matter. Because what they pull off when he's there is so beautiful and so brilliant visually that it doesn't matter. And that's what I'm talking about. It's cheating its way to success. I walked out of Ballerina going like, that is an 11 out of 10. You know what other genre does that? Horror movies. How many run-of-the-mill, super cheap, piece of crap, 90-minute fucking horror films with nothing to say come out, right? Every year there's like 100 of them. But it doesn't matter. Because you're not going there for a good story. You're going there to see how much it scares you. And sometimes it's so bad that you're so divested that it doesn't effectively do anything to you, which is fine. But sometimes you piss your pants. Metaphorically speaking, or literally, I don't know, medical conditions. It terrifies you. It can. A terrible film can terrify you. The Terrifiers, I did not intend to do that, I promise, are some of the worst made films just ever in popular culture that I've seen. Like, they're so cheap. Even when they're getting real budgets in, like, part 3 and 4, they're just the most crappiest shot. Like, would you use your iPhone to do this? Like, the effects are very unconvincing, but they're horrifying, and they work. And there's scenes where, like, people are getting, like, so gruesomely mutilated. I don't even want to get into it. Just it's just disgusting, man. But it gets you. It, like, twists your stomach in weird ways. Terrifier absolutely wins by cheating. It is a scary set of films. All 4 have their haunting aspects to them. I was floored after the first movie how many scenes there are of just people talking without the Terrifier in it. Like, parts 2 and 3 mostly have just endless scenes with that girl and the angel girl or whatever. It doesn't even matter what she's doing. And they're just talking about, like, school and drama and, oh my God, I don't care. Just go back to Terrifier. And then Terrifier shows up. What happens? Quality of the movie? Boom! Skyrockets. The performance is excellent. The scenes that he's in are excellent. And it's just such a it's not deserved, but that's exactly it. It's not deserved. Such a great moment. It's a mindfuck. Like, to think about how the Terrifier movies work and why they work is just, it's not about quality of the film. It can't be. It just can't be. If you look at it objectively, it's a pile of shit. All this because I watched White Chicks recently. Like, it just, there's so much to think about in terms of the subject. Like porn, for example. Like, I enjoy porn. I could be considered one who browses certain websites or hubs. The big meme with porn is that they're so shittily acted and there's barely any, like, cinematography, if any. It's just a medium shot the whole time, cut to medium shot, cut to medium shot. Like, there's no creative design. There's nothing happening. The plots are often laughably bad. I think since I've watched porn for over a decade of my life, since I was old enough to appreciate it, I don't think I've ever seen one with a good script or a good story. Ever. Admittedly, Porn Logic is kind of funny. It's a trilogy. Look it up. But that's not what you're there for, is it? And I'll tell you what, when you conclude your session watching the porn, you're satisfied. You're quite literally that's what it's for. It's what it does, and it's what it does to you. So how could one ever say that it's badly done, it's badly shot, it's badly produced? Because it works. It does what it needs to do for you. Movies are the exact same way. You can't think of something worsely produced than porn, but it wins by cheating, which is funny considering what the word cheating means in the context of porn. So all this to say, what's the point of making a well-shot, well-edited, well-produced video if that's not what people care about in the context of your movie? It all boils down to when you're making something, whether it's a movie, a show, a book, verbally telling a story to your children, whatever it is, it's all about intent. What message, what emotion or theme do you want to convey to your audience, and how are you going to do that? Lighting, cinematography, acting, those are all just tools. They're ways for you to do things. Whether or not it's well shot kind of means nothing. There's no mandate with anything in films. There's no such thing as you have to do it this way or that way. There's just what does work for an audience and what doesn't work for an audience. And that changes all the fucking time. You want to talk about The Shining or The Thing, where they got horrible reviews when they first came out, and then later on are considered masterpieces because they are. That's because at the time, the audience wasn't ready for those. They hated it. And there are films like Slender Man 2018, which are just savaged when they first come out with the worst reviews. And all these years later, it finally stays the same because it sucks. How many movies are well shot, well edited, well acted, well done, quote unquote, but you walk out of them and feel like you gained nothing? Like The Alto Nights, which came out earlier this year. There's nothing really wrong with the way that movie was, like, produced. It looks great. De Niro's always doing great. But God almighty, when I left that film, I was falling asleep. And I love Scorsese's films. I love De Niro's films. I think that, like, that style movie of, like, a slow burn action crime saga, they've done great ones. Casino was a masterpiece. But the whole time I'm just like, wow, you just want to be Goodfellas. You just want to be Goodfellas. And I can't criticize the camera, the production design, whatever went into that film. All of it is, like, well shot, well produced. You can't criticize that. But the experience was hollow, and I feel like I gained nothing. Conversely, White Chicks has some of the most cringy dialogue and some of the worst performances, like, acting-wise, like, all the supporting girl characters. Deborah Morgan, man, lowest of your career right there. You're way better than this movie. And a lot of the humor is like for 10-year-olds, even though it's like a really raunchy film that you shouldn't show a 10-year-old. But it's fucking funny. The Wayans brothers are genuinely entertaining when they're in their getup and doing their thing. I can't say I didn't enjoy myself, unironically. What I hope with films that are going to come out that I'm looking forward to is that they're genuinely good and they genuinely succeed at conveying whatever their theme or message is and whatever they're trying to do in a really strong and powerful way. And they don't cheat at what they're doing to get to being good, quote unquote. My most hyped film right now, oh God, I don't even know. Let's say Avengers Doomsday, just for sake of argument, right? If that movie comes out and it's a terrible film, but all the action is like really fun and crazy and entertaining, I'll be a little disappointed, but I can't say I didn't enjoy it because it's kind of what I wanted out of that film. But I hope going into it that it is a well-written, well-structured film, you know? I hope it has something to say. I hope it actually adds to the movies that have come before. There's a chance I walk out of that film and it was just a bunch of fun, dumb action. And there wasn't really a message or a story, like, say, The Marvels. The Marvels is the most, like, barren of any story or characters or development at all. It's just 3 actresses laughing, shooting lasers, the film. That's all it is. But that third act, there are scenes that are dumb fun to watch. So, yes, you can be a ballerina. You can be a terrible film that ends up being really fun to watch and exciting because it does what it wants to do and it pulls it off effectively. It can cheat. You can have a film that cheats its way to success, but they'll never be as good as an actual masterpiece. A film like The Matrix, where every piece of the puzzle comes together in a satisfying way. You get fun, exciting action. You get excellent philosophy and think pieces. You get well-written scenes, but you also get one of the best movies of all time. And you don't get that with Ballerina, and you never will. So all I'm trying to say is when Marlon and Damon Wayans make White Chicks fucking 2, they'd better at least fucking try beyond dumb visual gags, because I promise you, if you just retread the same thing that you did last time, this one will not have that same charm and charisma as the first one. This one will not have that same humor that lands. You need to do better. You need to give your all into every single film you make, and even if it misses, even if it's a terrible film, like Cloud Atlas, you know how many talented people worked on Cloud Atlas? All those parts of the moving puzzle, trying to make that 3-hour epic into what it is, you see the effort. You see them try. I don't think they pulled it off, but that doesn't matter, because it's still something that's way better made than White Chicks ever was. But I'd rather watch White Chicks.